So, the idea that I came up with for this project is about single use plastic on airplanes. So, obviously, it's a huge issue. If you've ever been on an airplane, you've gotten that like little plastic cup for your drinks. If you've ever been on like a long haul flight or like first class where you get a meal when you're flying, you have plastic utensils, you get water bottles, there's cans of soda, coffee cups, sugar packets, different things for coffee and tea. And so that's all contributing to plastic buildup and trash. So I'm hoping that if airlines are willing to use plastic alternatives or reusable silverware, things like that, reusable cups, then the amount of trash waste that is created by airplanes will diminish. So I'm not necessarily saying that all airlines have to use the same method for reusing and creating less waste. It doesn't necessarily have to be a cookie cutter type system, really, whatever works for them. Obviously, not all airlines have the same monetary value as like the big airlines of like Delta, American Airlines, things like that. And so they can do something little to where it's like a reusable cup, have, regular like metal silverware that they can rewash, things like that. Anybody on an airplane is going to be using single-use plastic. That's the downside of flying. There's no really alternatives on an airplane. Like, you can't ask for a reusable cup. Like, all they have is the plastic cups. So I'm hoping that by creating an alternative for plastic use, the amount of trash that is created is going to go down drastically. So I actually found an article from ABC News Australia that says that in 2017, 5.7 million tons of passenger waste was created on airplanes. So I'm pretty sure that number is just for Australia, since it is a relatively small number, like the larger scope of world trash creation. So if that's just Australia, which is technically like a smaller country, can you imagine like what the rest of the world creates? Like, that has to be a huge number. And if just some of the major airlines, Singapore Airlines, Air France, American, Delta, things like that, start using reusable alternatives, that number can be reduced drastically. So I haven't necessarily found people working on this issue. I've found other sustainability issues when it comes to flying. Obviously, planes are a huge user of fossil fuels, so they're trying to create alternatives for fuel for planes that's more eco-friendly. But this issue is not really something that is, I think, at the forefront, and I think that it should be, just for that, the mass number that of trash that it creates every year. So I'm hoping that this picks up some momentum. I've seen several articles about it, but I haven't really seen like a set organization that's working on creating less waste when it comes to flying. So hopefully that will happen in the future.